August 28th, 2006, 6:30 p.m. concerning the following petitions. We're going to go out of order. We have a withdrawal, which is going to be Barbara Palermo at 2628 North Street to find substantial and material change, reestablishment of former lot lines between two lots. Ms. Palermo?
Yes, my name is Barbara Palermo. I live at 26 North Street. David Plunkett, who is representing me in this matter, forwarded a letter to the board requesting that my petition be withdrawn without prejudice. And I'm here this evening asking you for that consideration.
Okay, is there anybody here that'd like to speak on behalf of this petition, oppose, in opposition, or in favor? Anybody? Okay, I just have a couple of questions before we do any type of vote. Just kind of find out kind of odd that you brought it to the board to try to establish lot lines. Can you explain to us what you wanted to do and now you want to withdraw?
I don't know that I should be addressing the board without Mr. Plunkett's presence. We did ask for withdrawal since I recently hired him, and his schedule just did not permit the meshing of the times needed and the amount of time needed to prepare for the presentation to the board. That's why I'm asking for the withdrawal of the petition.
This is going on for about four or 5 weeks, I believe. Is that correct?
One time, we asked for a continuance from the original time.
Right.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Then you have probably 2 or 3 weeks prior to that before you do come to the meeting. So overall, you're probably looking at maybe 7 or 8 weeks.
Well, we had
By the time you fill out your application and coming here, you're looking at least 8 weeks. That should give you plenty of time to do what you have to do.
I only hired Mr. Plunkett recently, within the last several weeks. It's true that I submitted the information for the petition because that's what was required about approximately a month prior to being able to establish a date. However, at that time, I did not have an attorney representing me.
Okay, there's nobody here who'd like to speak in behalf of this, but I would like to make a motion, not a motion, but to recommend that the board makes a motion to try to deny this petition. I don't know what's going on here. She's been in front of us 2 or 3 different times. She came in front of us this last time, and it just seems like I don't know if she's trying to bring something through the loopholes of the law where she can get this done. So
there's nothing mysterious, Mr. Chairperson. It's simply a matter of my feeling that I needed legal representation, and the attorney that I selected had a schedule that just did not permit an immediate response. So I ask the board's consideration in giving me
well, I just don't understand this. We give you 8 weeks to come over here when we continued this once already. Excuse me, and now all of a sudden you wanted to withdraw on the second meeting that we continued from the first one. And like I said, you've had 8 weeks to get things squared away with legal counsel or any type of engineering, and that's plenty of time to do what you have to do.
Perhaps that would have been true if I had had him early on, but as I said, it's only been in the last several weeks that I was able to have his representation in this matter.
Okay, but that's my recommendation to the board. Good, Dan.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. On the same lines, I guess the problem is the last time, this is the same lot to the right of the house, presently to the right of that, the empty lot?
Yes, where there was previously a 12-unit apartment building.
Right, but that's the one that you brought back in a couple of years ago, and the neighbors came out against it because they didn't want to see something get built there or something like that.
July 22nd of last summer was when it was appeared originally before the board.
Right.
And there were 41 abutters who did sign in favor of that. Right.
I think the only thing is if we take a vote and we deny it, you certainly can bring it back, as long as there's a considerable change to what you're trying to do now, or show a change to the building inspector's office. So I think the other thing is the neighbors, this is probably something they didn't come out for, they didn't know or they didn't realize, but I know last time we had quite a few that did come out. So like the chairman's saying, I'm not sure if we're going to get it back again in 3 months because the attorney then has time to do it. I just assume do something with it now so at least the neighborhood knows we acted on it. you have every bit of, you have the right, and the lawyer certainly will bring it back into the building department and make his recommendations to go
But
to
it
the
would
zoning
not be
board.
the same as responding to a repetitive petition for the same, for the original petition. Is that a true statement?
I guess your original petition needs to be, the new petition that comes in has to be different from the original petition, correct? You couldn't come back in with the exact same petition if we voted on this tonight.
I don't understand why it's a problem for the board to withdraw this petition without prejudice and allow me the opportunity that I need to have to work with my attorney in preparing a presentation.
Well, let me ask you this, Mal. I'll let the chairman answer that, because that's his realm of responsibility, but the other thing is it's possible to postpone it or move it on to another time, Mr. Chairman, that gives him more time. It's up to the chairman anyways, it's his call.
Well, like I said, we've had 8 weeks to get this thing squared away. We continued it once for you already. I mean, in 8 weeks, we've had major projects happen and get it approved, and they did the due diligence as far as getting all the proper things corrected, legal, engineering, the whole 9 yards. I mean, you have a small lot, and you can't get this within 8 weeks? I mean, I've been here for a long time, and it's the first I've heard of that. Go ahead, Vess.
Thank you, the chairman. I do share my fellow board, the chairman and the vice chair, frustration over these petitions, that, this ought to be resolved by now, the issues. Those I am concur with, to some extent, with Ms. Palamo, that if she requires legal representations, and if the chairman would allow, then if you can resolve these issues in 2 weeks, in that the attorney will be here to present these petitions. But I didn't hear that from Ms. Palamo. What I heard is that you want to withdraw this petition without prejudice. So there's no, so in other words, there's no saying whether or not you're going to come back in 2 weeks. It could have been a couple months from now, and then at which point the neighbor who would have concern and issue over this petition would disappear. And that's what my concerns are. And I think I do concur with Mr. Chairman on that. But I still am comfortable having Ms. Palamos here and say, look, I want some time so that my attorney can be here, represent me, and so that I can be heard. So I'm torn, Mr. Chairman. If time is what Ms. Palamo asking for 2 more weeks, as the vice chair indicated, then, if she asks for a postponement for 2 weeks, then I would incline to support that.
Okay. Go, Jack.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I guess that my fellow board member, Mr. Ben, I could not agree with more. I guess the perplexing question I have is, you stated that you didn't have enough time. If you didn't have enough time, why wouldn't you come before the board? And we've had numerous petitioners come before the board and had various requests because of hardships or illness, or simply because they changed legal counsel, and they've come before us and requested an additional continuance. I'm a little perplexed as to why you bypassed that specifically and went to withdraw without prejudice. I agree with my fellow board members.
That was the recommendation of my attorney, and unfortunately, he must have made some assumptions that are not holding true, because he's not here with me this evening. And so I'm in a bit of a difficult position in that I'm not free to consult with him and get his advice on this matter.
Okay, most petitioners that come up, if they don't have enough time, they want to continue this, and we've done that many, many times. But you want to withdraw this petition. And I think for some reason, in my mind, there's some legal loophole that you're trying to do here, that if you withdraw this, that you're able to do what you want to do, and I'm trying to take care of the neighborhood and also the city, and I think for some reason there's some hanky-panky going on here, which I don't know about. I'm not a lawyer.
I'm sorry.
I'm not an attorney. I don't know the law, but I think there's some type of legal loophole over hold over here, that if we withdraw this without prejudice, that you're able to do what you want to do. So my suggestion to the board is to deny this, and if you want to come back with a whole new plan, you can do that. You have the option to do that. Like I said, most people, as long as I've been here, every petition, if they want something to go further, they ask for continuance, and we give it to them. You want to withdraw without prejudice. You've been here 3 times. There's something going on here that I want to get to the bottom of.
There is nothing
and-
going
well,
on, Mr.
Like I said, I'm
Chairperson.
not an attorney, so I don't know. And I think there is something happening here, so I just want to, that's my recommendation to the board, and it's up to the board. I'm only, 1 vote, so I'll ask the board members to speak on it. Go ahead, Dan.
One question would be, Mr. Chairman, if we could delay the request to withdraw for 1 month.
I would be,
If we delayed the request for withdrawal for 1 month, brought it back in a month to decide then, at least it gives Ms. Palamo a month to bring in her attorney and do what she needs to do, and/or at that time, we can just vote on the petition as it stands, if that would work.
Is that going to be enough time? You were talking maybe 2 or 3 months earlier. Is
no,
that
I would be agreeable to that
1
recommendation.
month from today?
Yes.
Okay, is the rest of the board agreeable to that?
Does that mean, Mr. Chairman, that 1 month from now is that Ms. Palamo coming with her attorney, that we will act on it one way or the other?
Well, in the meantime, we'll bring this to the law department and find out what is going on as far as this, if she does withdraw without prejudice, and we'll get the information from the law department. But in other words, instead of withdrawing this petition, you want to continue it for 1 month. Is that correct?
Well, that seems like a better alternative than what you're suggesting.
Okay, what's that date, Diane? September 25th. You will not be notified, so you'll have to show up here with your attorney. Who is your attorney, Mr. Plunkett? Is that
David
correct?
Plunkett.
Okay. I need a motion to continue this for September 25th.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to continue this motion for withdrawal until the September 25th meeting.
And in that motion, let's put a recommendation that it goes to the law department, so the law department can check this in the meantime.
And yes, we can send this along to the law department at the board's request, if you would, please.
Okay, great.
I second the chairman, the
Call-
vice chair.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Noon?
Allow the motions for continue.
Mr. Squire?
Postpone.
Ms. McMahon? Mr. Flynn? Mr. Knox?
Continue.
Mr. Kazanjian?
Continue to September 25th. Thank you, Ms. Palermo. You will not be notified 6:30 with Mr. Plunkett. Just be here. Thank you. Ms. Palermo, excuse me, you have some paperwork you have to sign before you leave. Thank you. All right, next we have Nextel Communications, 99 Willie Street, for the co-location of wireless telecommunications facility, the rooftop, and existing commercial building. Are they here tonight? Okay. Did you finally get the okay from the historic?
We have.
Okay.
And,
Do you have that paperwork with you?
I do.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Joshua Delman, agent on behalf of Nextel Communications in this application. I just want to start off by thanking the board, Mr. Chairman, and the board members while we worked with the Historic Board in receiving our approval and continuing us several times. What we've presented to you tonight is the approval that the Historic Board granted us on August 15th, and a photo simulation package and a design that was approved by them as well. As you know, in our previous meetings, Nextel is one of a limited number of companies that hold a license from the FCC to provide wireless telecommunication services to the citizens of Lowell and the surrounding communities. As part of that license, we're mandated to provide coverage, and what we've done in this case is identified an area of degraded coverage, and this is a map that was included in the original package, around the 99 Willie Street address. You can see by the yellow plot here the area that where we're in need of improved service. And then by the coverage map that is in purple, the relief that this site provides that degraded area of service. In working with the Historic Board, what we've done is come to a design where we're proposing a total of 6 antennas on the top of the existing elevator penthouse at the Willie Street location. The height of that penthouse today exists at 69 feet 8 inches. We're proposing to extend it by a total of 5 feet. What we've done is encasing that antenna mount in a stealth material. This is a fiberglass material that would match the existing conditions of the penthouse, the concrete block. So the antennas would actually be located behind this facade. As you can see in that last photo simulation, what the extension would look like. So the antennas from street level would not be visible. They'd actually be behind this, and again, a total of 6 antennas. That extension, again, is 5 feet above the top of the penthouse as it exists today. The other part of the installation is the equipment area. That is going to be located on the interior of the building. We're going to actually build out an equipment room on the 4th floor, so that, again, will not be visible from anywhere on the exterior of the building. And that, I would now just open up to any questions the board may have regarding the installation.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here like to speak in favor for this petition? In favor? Okay, anybody in opposition? In opposition. Okay. Hearing none, let's open to the board. Yeah, go down.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I think the biggest thing is the Historic Board, and they seem to be pretty thorough. It's a service that's needed, and as you know, it's a commercial building. That's where we kind of look to put these things. I really don't have a problem with that. This gentleman's taken a long time to get it right. As you know, this has been postponed several times, and I think he has it, and the Historic Board has signed off on it, so I'm certainly in favor of it.
Okay, I agree with you, but now is everything going on top of the roof? Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It'll be on the, there's a roof level. The roof level is at 60 feet. There's a elevator penthouse that extends above the roof in the rear of the building.
Okay.
Our antennas will be located on the roof of that penthouse.
Okay. So you got the elevators there. Now you have electrical units. Now where are they going? They go on the roof, or are they going downstairs?
They're going on the 4th floor,
Yeah.
on the interior of the building. So we're utilizing existing commercial space.
So other than the antennas, everything is going to be inside the building?
Everything will be on the inside. There'll be
Okay.
the cables that run from the antennas to the equipment room, but that'll be on the roof, at roof level. It won't be visible.
Okay, great. Now, this is going to be on the side of the parking lot side, not the Willie Street side, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's it, thank you. Go ahead, Corey.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. This petition's been lingering a little while here, but I think it's been worth the wait. I think Nextel's been cooperative with Historic Board, and what I like most about it is it's all enclosed. Nothing's visible here. You wouldn't even know it's there. So I'm all for the petition. Thank you very much.
Jack, you all set?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I also agree with my fellow colleagues. I have no problem with this petition. Thank you.
Okay, we're all set. I need a motion.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve with the condition of attaching the Historic Board's findings and decisions to our petition.
Okay, any second?
I'll second the motion.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Noon? Oh, excuse me. Mr. Flynn? Mr. Belanger?
Approve with conditions?
Mr. Squalia?
Approve.
Mr. Kazanjian?
Approving conditions. You've been approved with 5 votes. We need to come up here and sign some paperwork, please.
Sure.
Thank you. TRS RSM Realty Trust, Robert Massey, 19 Edward Street. The appeal of the Inspectional Services Zoning Office Enforcement of the Zoning Ordinance, Sections 4.3.5, 12.9.0, 12.11.6.1.7 for property at 17-19 Edward Street. Is he here tonight? Mr. Massey?
I'd like to read this statement into the record for tonight.
Yes, please.
Thank you. To the Board of Appeals, City of Lowell, Mass. Regarding 17, 19, and 21 Edward Street, Lowell, Mass. I would like to thank the Board of Appeals for granting me a 30-day extension at your last meeting on 7/24/06. During this time, I have been able to consult an attorney who specializes in municipal zoning codes. He is unable to attend tonight's meeting as he is still on vacation. He has, however, assured me that he will defend RSM Realty Trust from any and all allegations made by the City of Lowell Code or zoning departments against RSM Realty Trust on a documented date of May 12, 2006. He would also like to make notice to the Board of Appeals that this is not the venue that he intends to use to seek redress of the alleged zoning violations or possible violations of my civil rights. Respectively, Robert S. Massey, trustee. 8/28/06. At this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to serve a copy of this to you for the permanent record.
Please.
Thank you.
Mrs. Murphy, can you come up to the podium, please? Mr. Massey, are you leaving? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Murphy. I'm the City of Lowell zoning officer. My mailing address is 375 Merrimack Street, and we would like to proceed with our case.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. This originally has started from 1988, at which time the area was zoned half business and half industrial. Can I have a chair? I have too many papers here. I just need to put them down. All right. In 1989 and 88, I have the start of violations that went from the city. And most of them you will find have been returned unclaimed. We have violations from the building department. We have more violations from the building department, more violation notices returned unclaimed. I have letters from the neighbors complaining about the condition of the property, asking for something to be done. I have violations from the fire department, the health department, and more violations from the building department in 1989. In October of 1989, the City of Lowell started to take legal action, so further notices were sent, again by the building department, the health department, and the buildings departments was returned unclaimed. We started to take the city in 1991, more violation letters. There is just years and years of violations from the building department, from the fire department, from the health department. Most of them were always returned unclaimed. In 1992, we have an order from Judge Kelly of the Superior Court dated February 6, 1992, to clean up the property. We have,
Was it cleaned up after that?
excuse me?
Was it ever cleaned up?
No,
Okay.
no. There was a letter from Mr. Massey's attorney at the time saying that the trailer would be lived in and the area would be used for storage, and it will be all cleaned up and orderly and presentable. In June of that same year, the law department again asked us for an update, and the building department's response was that nothing has been done, nothing has been cleaned up, it's still in the same condition. In July, the health department sent correspondence, same condition. In August, they again sent more that it was in the same condition. In September, the building department again. In September of '92, we have another court order, a reaffirmation of the previous court order to clean up the property. It was never clean. This goes on for years and years and years. There was a used car license that was granted to Mr. Massey in December of 1992, and we believe that that was a way around getting rid of the cars and some of the junk on the property. In the years 1993 to 2001, it was the same thing all over again, and it was always again. In January of 2001, the building department asked the License Commission if they would consider doing something about the license. So there were various continuances from the License Commission for the property owner to comply, which he didn't. There is just further and further correspondence from health, fire, building departments. New notices are sent continuously from 2001 to 2006, most of which are returned unclaimed. In November 2004, the zoning ordinance changed, and the property then became zoned regional retail, which still did not allow any of these uses to happen. Finally, the used car license was revoked by the License Commission December 19th, 2002. There have been more and more violation letters sent, and they're usually always returned unclaimed. However, this year, the entire property was also flooded in May 15th. The flood was 2006. We posted the property because new violation letters were seemingly a waste of time, so that we then posted the property with the building department, the fire department, and the health department's notices. The city council has asked that something happen to this property, so the same day an in-depth inspection occurred. The building department, the fire department, and the health department. That day, there were 8 boats, 2 RV campers, 3 utility trailers, 3 boat trailers, 2 mobile homes, 5 motor vehicles, and an office trailer, among other things all over, piled up. The owner appealed the ruling from the health department for a hearing before the Board of Health, and he did not attend that meeting, but the Board of Health did uphold the health department's rulings. Then he appealed our ruling to the Board of Appeals, and it started a month ago, and now it's tonight again. And we would like to see this matter finished. We would like to send it to the law department for an injunction to have this place cleaned, at which time his lawyer can address it with the city's lawyers. I was there again this afternoon taking new photos, and I don't see any difference from today's photos to any other photos. I have piles and piles of photos if you'd like to see them.
No, that's okay. I was by there today, and also I was by there 30 days ago when he was here at the last meeting, and the site is appalling. There's no need of it. The neighbors shouldn't have to put up with that, and the people in the city shouldn't have to put up with that. You're going to that beautiful soccer field, the Edwards Field. There's no need of it. Excuse me. Mr. Massey, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, give him the 30 days, and he came tonight giving us another stall tactic. This has been going on for 18 years. I mean, there's no need to continue this for another minute, never mind another day. He's had plenty of time, he's abusing the system. My honest opinion, I think we should vote on it. I'm gonna let the board members speak about it and see what they have to say. But if, whatever motion we do have to make on this, it's gonna be to either uphold the decision of the building department or not to uphold the decision of the building department, excuse me. So I'm gonna open up to the board members and see what they have to say. Go, Jack.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. We are supposed to be objective, but I must admit that the history of 18 years, as the chairman stated, the absolute apparent disdain for City Hall in ignoring all of the issuance from fire department, health department, and building department, and to be quite candid, the behavior of Mr. Massey, not only this evening, but last evening in last meeting, in simply walking out of the chambers, I think speaks volumes, and obviously is just highlights the difficulty that the building department has had. And I could not agree more that we should resolve this evening and vote to uphold the ruling.
Thanks, Jack. Go ahead, Corey.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in total agreement with my board member, Mr. Knox. Again, a history of 20 years, and when this guy is called on it, he's either simply doesn't show or claims his rights are being violated. I mean, all we're doing is asking him to clean up his property. He's got several violations: health, fire, building. The list goes on. The property is not going to improve unless we take action. So I don't know what he's up to. Is he holding out for a builder? I think it'd be advantageous for him to let us know that. But instead, he'd rather run, and I'm for withholding the decision to get some movement on this right away. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jack, you all set? Yeah? Okay, I just want to add one more thing. I just think the waste of the taxpayers' money that's spent on this in the last 18 years is just, it's mind-boggling. I just can't believe that a certain individual can get away with this and going through the proper channels. He knows the laws better than we do, and he knows what has to be done. I need a motion.
Make a motion to uphold the building decision, the building department's decision.
Any second?
Second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Belanger?
Uphold.
Mr. Flynn? Uphold. Mr. Squire?
Uphold.
Mr. Knox?
Uphold.
And Mr. Kazanjian?
Uphold the decision of the building department. Thank you, Mrs. Murphy.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. The next we have is Drake Petroleum, it's 378 Gorham Street, to raise and reconstruct and reestablish the use of a self-serve gas station, convenience store, pumps, islands, and canopy to include the extended curb cut and internally illuminated oversized signage. Yes, sir.
For the record, my name is Ron Fortune, and I have some material, if it's okay to present.
Mr. Fortune, what's your address and what's your status in this?
I'm an agent for Drake Petroleum on this project, and my address is 33 Park Plaza, Lee, Mass.
Okay, why don't you bring that material up to us so we can take a look at it?
Basically, I presented a 3D of the site on different views, and then also a larger of the site. The city planner had submitted a letter as well as DPD regarding the signage, stating the agreement on the freestanding sign, the monument sign to be no higher than 13 feet, a single column with 20 square feet maximum allowed. That's not represented in this rendition due to the timing of that. As to the meeting with the city engineer, again, I was going by what planning had reviewed with the project, and that we were concerned with the length of curb cuts. As far as the site grading, the drainage, site drainage, I have not gotten to that at this point. However, in the approval, I am working out, and I'm required to work out prior to getting a building permit for those components. And knowing that I think that would be the only element of this that, with this letter from the associate planner on August 24th, I received this because there was concerns about what I had already gone through with my review for planning. And I was concerned about the status of that review and what the conditions were for this site development with the requirements that were asked by this board. And I believe you have a copy of this memo.
This, what memo are you talking about, Mr. Foshin?
The memo of August 24th from the associate planner, James Erickson.
Okay,
and basically the three components were the sign, the curb cuts, and the general lighting of the site. The fact was that this had been a service station, and that a special permit for the use was not a requirement. That was my understanding of it, and I thought the board was, that was brought to the attention of the board by planning. And I don't mean to eliminate, I will get everything that this board wants. I've been working with the city on getting the development for this, and I apologize, but I did not get to the stormwater management.
Yes, in fact, I had Kim call you today to make sure that you did have everything for tonight's meeting, and I thought it was going to be very hard for you to get everything done in 2 weeks. That's why I had a call, and you said you were all set. You have not met with the engineer. You haven't got that stormwater management squared away. I don't see anything as far as cameras on the building. You did address some fire department issues. We have some delivery times and hours of operation. I faxed you. I don't see that on the paperwork. And plus, you're giving us this stuff to us last minute. We really can't digest this and take a look at it when you're giving it to us right now and at the meeting. We need to take a look at this for a couple of days and really digest it and make sure everything is right. I mean, this is a major project. We want to make sure it's going to be done right. Not that you're not going to do it right, but we want to see everything on plans. We've had a lot of gas stations come in front of us, and this is one of the poorest plans I've seen in front of us. We don't have any stormwater management. We don't have this, and we didn't have a lot of things. And we requested last meeting that you would get this information. You said we'll take care of it in 2 weeks, and we still don't have it. We want to work with you. I think you got a good site and a good station going there. I mean, you're going to take something that's an eyesore and make it something nice. We want to work with you, but you have to work with us also.
Right, and what I had been waiting for was this letter to explain to this board by planning that they touch on every item that we had basically talked about, that the approvals that I was needing from this board for relief from this, for this design, everything else had been either in stages or agreed upon for finishing the task. Like just this today at 4:30, I just got the approval between the client and the DPD, the sign size that was going to be worked out for this. I mean, that's, and I was remiss in not continuing for that, to have a presentation piece for that. However, in the letter, it goes on to talk about what is happening with the underground storage, what is happening with the, some of the other issues that were addressed. That plan, yes, you just received it, but that was a city document. It was also through city council that I got increased storage, and I got the self-serve license.
That's fine. We still don't have any engineering work. I've been to a lot of boards on the other side where you're sitting, and when I come to a board, I try to prepare myself as much as I possibly can. And one of the big things that they ask for is engineering work, which is stormwater management. Do you have any MDC traps that are going to go on this here? I want to see that stuff to make sure this stuff is going to be done right. I want to make sure you meet with the engineer, and the engineer touches all the bases. Then you come in front of us, and we can take a look at it. I thought we talked to you last meeting, and you agreed that you were going to take care of that stuff. Now I'm getting a letter from the city planner or the DPD stating that you have an appointment with the engineer's office. I don't want to see that. I want to see that now, which if you started it when you should have started it, should have came to us with no problem at all, and within 2 weeks you should have got it done. I mean, if you need more time, we'll give you more time, but I want to see what you're going to do. I mean, I know you're going to do a nice job, but I want to make sure you're going to do a nice job for the benefit of the city and also the neighborhood. We'll work with you as much as we possibly can, but you have to work with us, like I said.
Yeah, is there a difficulty with what I've presented as far as where I should submit different on the 3D?
No, the 3D itself looks okay. I mean, I don't know if it tells us dimensions, but that should be on the plot plan, so that shouldn't be a problem. I know you gave us a plan here for the fire suppression from the state. This is from the state fire marshals, is that correct?
The one document that I handed you, that document's been signed locally.
Okay.
And then a package is sent
to the state.
A package has been sent, and I received it back, and I copied a corner of it, and that was part of the documentation that I presented to you.
Okay.
That it was approved like you're seeing it right there.
Okay. Cameras, have you touched on the camera? Have you done anything with the cameras?
There's cameras required by the state in that.
I know that. That's on the canopy, but we have a problem here with the neighbors, and Mr. McDonough was here at last meeting, and he wants to address some of the areas around the building with cameras, and you agreed to do that, and I don't see anything on this, any type of plan, or I don't see...
We try not to document that, in an open forum. I mean, that's... But
Well,
we will present to you what... I mean, we have a security company that provides that for us in a manner. We will be doing that.
Okay, so you get the security company, find out where's the best needs for the cameras, and you put on the plan where you're going to put the cameras. I've done this before. I know what has to be done. It's very easy. It's not a hard thing to do. You call the security company, you tell them you want to put some cameras, surveillance cameras around the area. They'll find out the best need for the cameras, and they put on the plan. It's simple. You already did it for the canopy. Let's do it for around the building. This is a pretty big project, and this plan is very, very poor. And you tell me how much time you need to get it squared away, and we'll work with you.
Okay, is there any other...
I'll open up to the board, see if they have any other questions. Go ahead, Vez.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. This board, the last meeting, has been specific enough about the issues that you, the petitioner, has to address prior to coming in today. One being the camera. Two being that you meet with the engineer regarding the stormwater's drainage. And you come back, none of those was addressed. And in addition, the lateness of submission of additional documentation for us to review, it's not enough time. And Mr. Chairman, I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight. He need to meet with the engineer. He need to address the issue that we brought the last 2 meetings, so thank you.
Okay, Dan.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Just to add into my colleague and yourself, I think I think you're under the impression that because you got one board approval, that this board isn't as important to get the information that was requested. So we're taking up a lot of time of everybody here to listen to exactly what we said 2 weeks ago. And in my opinion, if we voted for this, you know, though it's a fancy drawing or a CAD CAM display, it really is not very analytical to what we were looking for. This is the last stop, the last approval, so in the eyes of the taxpayers, they kind of want us to make sure that we are addressing every issue that might be in the back of our minds. I'm not sure, and the engineer will know better, if turning right onto that street and then left into this place is a good idea. I'm not sure if that sign is the best in the engineering world just because it might be in the sign lady's world. I think the security, we had a gentleman here, a resident, a neighbor, that said, I don't mind doing something, I want to clean the property up too, but security is an issue over there. And it was asked very politely, it was asked how much time that was needed, and here we go again. So if I was to make a motion tonight, it would be to deny, and I certainly have no problem with that. So if you want to give this gentleman the time to make a good project better, I'm all for it, but right now, it's just a matter of, I hope this time we get it right for the next meeting.
Good, Jack.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I think you prefaced, Mr. Chairman, your opening remarks with that this is a large project. Keeping that in mind, I would say to the petitioner that it's incumbent upon you to literally dot all the I's and cross all the T's. Specifics requests were made. As my fellow board members stated, they were not addressed. One of the things that's involved here, first there is a logical process, as the chairman addressed, as far as water mitigation and on the other issues. The other, for us as board members, is to make sure we also address the concerns of the neighbors. That is every bit as important as any approvals you're going to get from an engineering department or whatever department you work with. And the fact that they haven't been addressed raises another issue, the kind of support and feedback we're going to get from the neighborhood. And that being the case, I'm really on the fence as to whether or not I would vote to deny or vote to continue. I would certainly welcome hearing from other board members before I would reach that decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Corey?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very, very busy corner as far as pedestrian traffic and vehicle traffic. And we did address all these issues, and I think this board wants to work with you, and the neighborhood wants to work with you. But there's several small issues that need to be addressed, and I would hate to vote hastily on this, Mr. Chairman. It's an important petition, and I do like the plan on paper very much, but the I's have to be dotted and the T's need to be crossed, so to speak. So I would be all for giving the petition a little more time, as it is a very intricate project. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Corey. Go ahead, Donna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Because of the location of the property and the entryway into the city, I would like to see the final sign plan approved by Diane Trad.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Jack? All set? Well, I think you get the feel from the board. We want to work with you, but you're really not trying to work with us at all. You give us the biggest plans we've seen on a project this size here. I mean, if this is what you're showing on your plans, how is the project itself going to turn out? We definitely want to work with you. If you need to, what I like to do is continue it for as much time as you need. You need 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you tell us. In the meantime, if you have to, you call the office, we'll meet you on site. We'll work with you any way we possibly can to expedite this. We'll help you as much as we want. But you have to work with us also. So you tell us, how much time do you really need?
Well, 2 weeks was not enough. It took me a while to get what I thought would be the direction that I wanted to, from what I had understood from the start of the project. So if I could start with
Have you got an engineer in place already working on
Yes,
this? You
yes.
do? Okay.
Yes, we have a company that's working on that. It's just that what we were waiting on was, what we had understood, again, was how we were dividing up the driveway and whether or not we were going to be granted relief of that length of 54 feet. And then that was going to signal what we would do to proceed for the stormwater management plan. And that's why we were hesitant of just saying, okay, this is what we're doing, because we do not know that we can get relief for that distance of 54 feet. But from planning, that was the understanding of my purpose at this meeting. Also, again, the sign, which we had just worked out today, which is slightly different, but I can get a schematic and a detailed plan of that. As to the lighting, we felt that we had addressed it on another set of plans that were originally submitted with the plan. And then I thought that James Erickson's letter to you addressing what he felt was each of the items was going to clear this. I meant no insult to this board for not having the documentation. I will go and I will get it. And I would like the opportunity, we're urgently needing to redo the site. I would like the opportunity to try to get it done in 2 weeks. And then, as you had mentioned, that someone had called me from code enforcement as requesting whether or not I needed an extension of time, which I appreciated, and I felt that I could satisfy with the documentation that I had a segment of what I thought this board was focused on from that letter by the planner, for the direction that I was getting from that. And I apologize to this board for just not doing exactly as it had asked.
Okay, you do have the list that we faxed over to you, is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes.
That's basically what we want.
Yes.
You just follow that list and we're not gonna have a problem. You have a letter from Diane Trad saying that you could put a freestanding, she recommends a freestanding sign. We're gonna stick with that monument sign, 6 feet in height, monument sign,
Oh,
right. If you wanna see one, there's a mobile station, on Gorham Street that we approved, and it looks wonderful. They have a nice, brick base, and the sign's on top of that. And like I said, if you have any questions, you want to call the office, we'll gladly meet with you out there, and like I said, see if we can expedite things and help you out. So you just call the office anytime, and we'll set up an appointment, and
Okay.
and the
All
board members and myself will meet out there and
Okay.
try to work with you.
All right.
Okay, so you think 2 weeks is going to be ample time?
Can I set up an appointment for Tuesday morning? I mean, or should I be calling in
Why
and
don't
find
you
out?
call the office, and this way here, everybody can check their schedules and make sure everybody can meet out there,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
But 2 weeks is going to be good, though, right? For you to come back here?
If I can have the same opportunity that, you know, if I had to extend it beyond that point, I'll get directly on it. I mean, some of this stuff that I will, as far as the surveillance cameras, I know I can get that directly. The stormwater management process will take a little bit of time, but it's believed that it could be done in the 2-week period.
Well, if you're already working on it, I mean,
Yeah.
that's half the battle right now.
I mean, this
if you're already
plan
working
has
on
been
it,
around a while.
you're just going to have to bring either you or the engineer up to our engineer's office and sit down with him and find out exactly what he wants. Bring the plan that you have,
Yep.
and he might want to fine tune the plan that you have. I know you're going to need an MDC trap for any type of
Yep.
spillage or whatever,
Right.
and things like that. So, but he'll tell you what you're going to have to do.
All right.
Okay, so 2 weeks is going to be plenty of time, and in the meantime, call the office. We'll try to set up an appointment for Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Talk to Kim. She's the girl that
Yep.
called you today.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need a motion to continue for 2 weeks.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have something on that meeting in 2 weeks, on the 11th. So I'm not sure how you want to proceed, if you want it to be on that meeting or the meeting after.
No, 2 weeks is fine. We have a heavy agenda. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, 2 weeks, I'll make a motion to postpone for 2 weeks, which would be September the 11th,
Yep.
Mr. Chairman.
I need a second.
Second.
Somebody second? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Knox?
Continued.
Mr. Noon?
Continue.
Ms. McMahon? Mr. Squire?
Continue.
Mr. Belanger?
Continue?
And Mr. Kazanjian?
Continued. Mr. Fortune, be continued for 2 weeks. We need to sign some paperwork before you do leave,
Yes.
okay? Thank you.
Not at all. Yeah, I think so.
City of Lowell, Division of Planning, 344 Pawtucket Street, to construct a two-family dwelling with insufficient lot area per dwelling unit. Mr. Elides.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's actually community teamwork. I think there was a typing error in tonight's notice, but it's not significant. It's just a continuance notice.
Was it sent out with that
No.
advertisement?
No, it was,
Okay.
I just continue, I think it's tonight's
Okay,
notice
great,
that
okay.
says that.
All right.
Good evening. In any event, I'm here this evening with Mr. Galligani again, and I'm going to be brief but try to just review for the board what happened at our last meeting 2 weeks ago when we were here. I pointed out to the board that I was here representing Community Teamwork Incorporated, who purchased this property at 344 Pawtucket Street from the City of Lowell after an RFP in which they were the only people that answered the RFP and purchased for a substantial amount of money this property from the city. The intent at the time was to convert this to affordable housing in an effort to be one of the additional properties that would help the steel relocation and other affordable property issues in the city. While this was going on and we were attempting to put all of our drawings and financing and everything together, the zoning, the city who sold us the property changed the dwelling unit per unit, the square feet per dwelling unit requirements for this property. So that whereas when they sold it to us, it was a legitimate two-family, and they sold it to us as a legitimate family, when the new zoning, no, I'm just trying to point out what, this is not a New York Street shell game, but it was sold to us as a two-family, and then they changed the rules of the game. I pointed out, I think, that we have a nice plan. It meets every other requirement. We have 4 parking spaces. I know there was a gentleman here before, and he's here again this evening, that was concerned about traffic. I think everybody's concerned about traffic in that area, but in my own opinion, I can't imagine a two-family is going to be with 4 cars on it that is going to change school and Pawtucket Street. The chairman, as I recall, was concerned about 2 things, or the board was concerned about 2 things. One was a memo that was in the file concerning something to do with non-conforming structures, and the second was, at that time, I don't think that everybody had a copy of the plan, which I believe has now been the plan for the building itself. And let me just speak briefly on that plan. This is the same plan that's been already used, I think, in the Broadway area by the Coalition for a Better Acre. It's nice and yet not overly ostentatious. It's got some nice architectural features to it. It's been previously approved by the Division of Planning and Development as part of that, and it's my understanding that the Division of Planning and Development has already issued their approval of hopefully what they wanted to do in the first instance, and indicated that they're in favor of the petition tonight. The one other thing I'd like to do is, Mr. Chairman, after last week's, 2 weeks ago meeting, I did try to check in on the memo that was given to you, and when I called the building department, I was told that it was inadvertently placed in this file. I do have a copy of that memo, which has been signed off on by Mr. St. Hilaire, the Associate Building Commissioner, and I'm glad to give that.
Please, yes, please.
Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I think we said it all the last time. I think we have a great plan. I think it's very appropriate for this particular lot, and I would ask the board to favorably consider this. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak in favor for this petition, in favor? Is there anybody in opposition? In opposition, yes, sir. Just state your name and address and tell us what you don't like about the project, and if you can sign in for us also.
Hi, Walter McGrail, 89 School Street, Lowell. I did speak before the board, Mr. Chairman, 2 weeks ago on August 14th. Contrary to what Mr. Elides just stated this evening, my concern is not the fact that how will 4 cars from this particular project impact school in Pawtucket Street. 4 cars will probably not. My contention as I came before this board 2 weeks ago was to indicate that I'm very much in favor of affordable housing. I have no qualms or concerns about the project. I have very serious qualms and concerns about the site that this project is going in at. And as I've stated once before, and I'll state again for the record, I'm not opposed to affordable housing. I'm opposed to the site in which it's located. I still believe, I went back to that site the next day. I've been back there several times before. I was there at 5 o'clock from 5 to 6 this afternoon. And Pawtucket Street and School Street, as I stated once before, are heavily trafficked areas. And as well-intended as this project is, as beautiful this design is, as wonderful it is that they've got 4 spots off-street parking in the back, which I learned after the last week's meeting, the project in and of itself meets wonderful characteristics of such a type of affordable housing. The location in which it's located, I think, is hazardous and poses serious safety concerns for traffic coming by, not for necessarily the 4 vehicles that are going to be parked there. Again, I state the fact that drivers coming over the Pawtucket Bridge from Pawtucketville turning left have a very short line of sight for any vehicles that might be exiting this property or entering this property coming from the St. Joseph's Hospital area trying to turn left with oncoming traffic coming in their direction. Am I against affordable housing? Absolutely not. I'm all for it. I think this particular project is wonderful. I think that the clients that it could serve would well be served by it. I just think that it's in a wrong location, and I state that for the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else like to speak in opposition? In opposition. Hearing none, I'll open it to the board. Jack, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I would just want some clarity on the issue of whether or not we could vote from Councilor Elides. I think that was one of the things that prohibited, and I just wanted some clarity on that. I know it wasn't signed in our package either, and I think you did address that with the city solicitor, and I'm just wondering what the feedback was.
We have a letter from, I shouldn't say, we have it signed from Mr. St. Hilaire that it is okay for us to speak in behalf of this, so it is all right.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Corey.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. McGrail has some genuine concerns about the property. And after I've been by myself, Mr. McGrail, the property again, and I originally estimated that the home to be built was about 75 to 100 feet from the intersection. And now after a second glance, I think it's a little more than that, actually. And I was in favor for it 2 weeks ago. Affordable housing is at such a shortage. With the costs associated today with acquiring property, rehabilitation, it's just not in the cards for a builder. They'd be losing money. And here we have a nice brand new home, and we have the opportunity to give a couple families home ownership that normally wouldn't. And I think it's a good plan. I'm very familiar with the site. I live right down the street myself. And what was there, I think, was larger than a 2-family. As I investigate, I think at one point it was a 4 to a 6 family, and with an absentee owner. And I think this is a drastic change for the better, what's happening here, and I'm all for it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead, Vess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do concur with my colleague that this is a great petition. Also, I do feel that this petition was signed off by the DPD, Department of Planning and Development, strongly supported by their staff and their directors. And plus, this plant is one of which we are owner-occupied, and they do provide off-street parking. I concur with my fellow board members. The last time, I do intend to support it again tonight, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I think it's like we're forced with many Monday nights or Tuesday nights in the past, is trade-offs. And this corner, the gentleman is right. It's a very difficult corner. We all know it's so heavily traveled. The problem is you have the drugstore on one corner, and his driveway's even closer, and you have the quad building on the opposite corner across from him, which the driveway right there on the. It's just very, very difficult. But what's there now, the empty lot and the place for overgrown grass and the kids to hide and play or get hurt in there, I think is a trade-off. I think we need to approve it. I think it would be better than what it is now. And I think the traffic is accustomed to the busyness of that corner and has been for quite many years now. The school's been there for a long time. And I don't think we're adding anything worse to the intersection. I think we're contributing to it, but certainly not going to make it any worse. So I would be in favor of it, and I think it's a better situation than what we have there presently. Thank you.
Thank you. Go, Jack.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I also agree with my colleagues. I feel that it'll be a nice addition to the neighborhood, and I would be in favor of this petition. Thank you.
Okay, Donna?
Yep. Thank you. As a resident of Pawtuckettville, I travel that many times a week, that area, and I am opposed to this petition. Although I agree with affordable housing, I think that's wonderful. I don't like the location. I think one house there would be great, but two houses, I'm just not in favor of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just have a couple of questions. I think I don't know if I asked this question last meeting. Is this going to be sold units to owner-occupied people, or is it going to be rental units?
Owner-occupied.
Owner-occupied people. So
Right.
they're going to buy this, they're going to live there.
With a rental for the second unit, of course.
What's that?
With a rental for the second unit, of course. It's a two-family. Two condexes, I'm sorry.
So it's two condexes.
They're both going to be owner-occupied.
They're both going to be
correct.
sold, and both going to be owner-occupied.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. I'm corrected. I'm sorry.
Just looking where the driveway is, and Mr. Square brought this up a few times. Where are the stairs coming on the side? Are there any stairs coming out the side? People coming in and out of this driveway where there might be a problem with the drive?
I think the stairs, Mr. Chairman, are on the opposite side from the driveway. If I'm
Where they're
not
going to be
mistaken.
on
the
on
right.
the other side where that supposedly tree easement is?
Correct.
Is that correct? The opposite side. Okay, it's going to be on the other side of the driveway, so we don't have to worry about any stairs where kids might walk down the stairs and walk in the driveway, and somebody pulling in and out might get hurt.
Correct.
Okay, so they're going on the opposite side.
Right.
Okay. That's all I have to say. I agree with the board members. I think it is a good plan. It is a heavily traveled area, but I think this is the best fit for that lot. The lot's an eyesore now. I mean, it looks like a jungle over there, so I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
Need a second? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Noon?
Approve.
Ms. McMahon? Mr. Flynn? Mr. Square?
Approve.
And Mr. Kazanjian?
Approved. Been approved with 4 votes, so we need to sign some paperwork before you do leave.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
George must have it.
Okay, we have TRS Canal Side Realty Trust, 900 Lawrence Street, for demolition of an existing building, vacant mill building, and construction of 16 residential townhouses within the existing foundation with all the required lot area per dwelling unit, side, rear, and front yard setbacks. Mr. Flood?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, James Flood, 81 Bridge Street, Lowell, Mass., representing Canal Side Realty Trust. With me tonight is Ed Partika, who's the trustee, and not here tonight is Dean Jenkins, who will be doing the construction. But we're before you tonight requesting a special permit to demolish the existing old vacant mill building at 900 Lawrence Street and construct 16 new townhouse units without various dimensional requirements being side, rear, front yard setback, and land area per dwelling unit. The proposed plan has been presented to the planning board, and we did receive their approval. There were three conditions, one being that we provide a crosswalk from the new townhouses across the street to the park. I think if you've been over there, you saw the park across the street. That we received the required approvals from the Conservation Commission, and also that we received the required variances and special permits from this board. A little bit of history on the property. Back in July of 2005, we appeared before the planning board for site plan approval and for the conversion of the existing building into 16 units. What we had proposed to do was have 15 two-bedroom units and one single unit. But after my client investigated the building with Dean Jenkins, they felt that because of the age of the building, this would be a much better project for the neighborhood. In addition, there are many 2- and 3-family homes in the area, plus condominiums. So they felt that this type of project would be better. Each unit shall have a full basement. They'll have a kitchen and a living room on the first floor and 2 bedrooms on the second floor. There are 35 parking spaces, so it's based on 2.2 spaces per unit on the existing parking lot. As previously stated, my client feels that this is a better development for the neighborhood because of the park across the street, and like I said, there's sufficient parking on the site. So that's why we're here tonight. I think you can grant this relief without derogating from the intent of zoning, because we could put 16 in there, and I think that these brick front units are better for the area. So here to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you. I just have a little problem. The plans that you submitted to us, I mean, it's so small, I really can't even read them.
I have a big one.
Yeah, I wish I had them earlier so I can take a look at it. If you can bring it up to us now, let's take a peek at it and see if we can take a look at it.
I have another set if you want me to give it to somebody else.
Please, yes, yeah. Go ahead, Corey.
Mr. Chairman, I just got a question for council. Does he have conservation approval?
Haven't been to Conservation Commission yet.
I don't know.
I'm going to open up to the board, see if they have any other questions while I'm reading these plans. How far back is this going to be set from the front of the...
It's going to be
lawns?
within the existing foundation. They're going to use a portion of the front as the
Okay.
front wall of the building.
All right.
So everything, it's not going to be any change from what's there.
So it's pretty much going to sit in the same
in the
location as this brick
foundation,
building
right.
is.
Right.
And this
It's a
facade
narrow-
is going to be a brick facade, is that correct?
Excuse me?
It's going to be a brick facade? on
Yeah.
the- Yeah.
Yes, it is,
Okay.
yeah. But I think there might be someone here that might want to speak on
Okay.
this, Mr. Chairman, so.
Is there somebody who wants to speak on behalf of this? In favor? In favor?
He's all set.
Anybody in opposition? In opposition? Okay. Go ahead, Jack.
On the surface, the plans they really look very nice. I wanted to make sure of one thing. Did you say it was 35 or 36 parking spaces?
35 spaces. I think that's what the plan will show. I think it's numbered there. It's 2.2 we need, and that's what we need.
2.2.
Yeah, I added it up on one of those plans. There is sufficient parking. It's either 35 or 36.
Thank you.
Okay, Jack, go ahead, Corey.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. He answered my question earlier on about conservation. He does need approval from the Conservation Commission. Also, trash removal, is there going to be a dumpster on site, or is
It's
it?
going to be inside the building because of the location of the canal, and it'll be picked up. Private company will come and pick it up. But everything will be inside.
And it seems like you got excess room in the parking lot for snow removal and
Yes.
whatnot. That seems...
It's a big parking lot. I don't know if you've been by it.
Yeah. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think it's a nice plan. This is formerly, it looks like an industrial building that used to emit all kinds of fumes and whatnot, which I don't think is good for the neighborhood whatsoever. And I think this is a good project. It's got it all. It looks much like, it's going to look much like what was there with the brick facing. It's got parking and the park across the street, and I think it's a good plan, and I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Vesa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I noticed that one of the conditions from the planning, and Mr. Belancho asked Attorney Flood earlier that to get an approval from conservation. Does Attorney Flood has to go before conservation before coming
No.
before this board, or can?
He doesn't have to, that's up to us. to
Any-
decide
It's
that.
up to us.
Mr. Noon, I think under the zoning, any conditions placed on this project by the planning board has to be incorporated in your decision. So if you vote in favor of it, we still have to go to the Conservation Commission. It's just a question of scheduling when these people are meeting, and you people seem to meet more than the Conservation Commission, so we're here first.
Because, Mr. Chairman, I recall from past when we had a meeting at the mayor receptions that we normally tell the petitioners, go before the conservations, get the notice of approval or the order of condition from there before coming, and then come back to us. And either way, I just a question.
Okay, when are you meeting with conservation?
The next meeting,
When is that?
everything's been filed, but we did receive the approvals last year for the project in the existing building, so it's a very similar filing.
Is this building the exact same size of the building that's there now?
We're building within the foundation, so it may be a little smaller.
Okay, it's gonna be smaller. So in other words, you have a building, because I noticed it's in that 25-foot buffer zone, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so the building that's there now is in that 25-foot buffer zone.
Absolutely.
Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
And we received the approval last year, so it'll be very similar.
yeah. So if the board wants to continue this for 2 weeks, is that going to be,
Well, I don't know when the meeting is. I mean, I think if you made this subject to their approval, it's the same thing.
right? Okay, let's see what the board members have to say. Go ahead, Vesa.
Mr. Chairman, just a question. I do not mean that we should continue this for 2 weeks.
Okay.
If we can vote on it and then make it a condition, then I'll do it tonight.
Well, where there's a building right now on that 25-foot buffer zone, they're going to take that building down and reconstruct it in a smaller size. I think the conservation, that's my opinion, but I'm not on that board, so would go along with it. I mean, if it was brand-new construction and there was nothing there, I think it might be a different story. But I'll let the board members see what they have to say. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I think regardless of what we do tonight, they can stop the project if they don't like it anyway. So I think I think Mr. Noon's request or question is a valid one because we do that. But sometimes it's just, as you know, not as clear as this one is, and you're pointing out that the foundation sizes aren't going to change, and they're really not changing the topography or the geographical location of the property. So I think us voting on it on the merits that what we have certainly would be fine in this situation. It's a good project. It certainly will improve that neighborhood, and I'd like to get them started as quickly as we can.
Okay, and if anything changes on the plan that conservation makes, we can make a condition that they come back here to the zoning board, and we have to review that plan and vote on it, either yes or no. Okay? Go, Jack.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think it'll be a nice improvement to the neighborhood, and I like the idea of having the park across the street for the kids to use, and I would be in favor of this project. Thank you.
Donna? All set? Well, I think anytime you see an abandoned building and somebody wants to tear it down and build up a brand-new building for whether it's either commercial, residential, whatever the case may be, taking an eyesore and making something nice and spending some money in the city, I think is a good thing. I don't have a problem with either going forward with this. It's totally up to the board members, see what they have to say. And like I said, we can make a condition that if any changes are made from this plan with conservation, it comes back to the board to review it, and we can make a decision then whether we're going to vote for it or opposing it. Okay. Go ahead, Vess.
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve it with conditions that the petitioner go before the conservation to get order of condition. Should there's any change, that he return to this board for an approval.
That sounds good. Okay, I need a second?
Second the motion?
Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Noon?
Approve with condition.
Ms. McMahon? Mr. Flynn? Mr. Square?
Approve.
And Mr. Kazanjian?
Approve the conditions. We'll take this, yeah. Give me next time, just give me a full set of plans next time. I couldn't read that thing now. I'm not getting any younger yet. I'm not getting any younger yet. Yeah, that's all. Just give me a hand, Phil.
She's a piece of work, Bob.
Mine too. I need to get new glasses.
Oh, okay. I remember when it first came up. Last year. I'll be curious to hear the story behind the story over here.
It will surface, I'm sure. Right with it.
Are you all set with the tape? Tape's all set?
Yep. We got just enough, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have Cheryl A. Gonzalez and James Gonzalez, 39 Birch Street, to construct an addition to attached garage without the required front yard setback. Are they here? Okay. Why don't you sign in, please, state your name and address, and tell us what you'd like to do.
Basically, we're just looking for a little under 2 feet.
Can you state your name and address, please?
I'm sorry, James Gonzalez, 39 Birch.
Okay.
We're just looking for a little less than 2 feet from the street setback to go on with our plans for an addition.
Okay, great, thank you. Is there anybody here like to speak in favor for this petition, in favor? Is anybody in opposition? Opposition. Okay, hearing none, I guess we'll go on. I was by there today, and the yard is very well kept up, and this is going to be a two-story structure, is that correct?
Yeah, it's going to be basically on the same roof structure as the existing, just set back with a little...
A full dormer in the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
full dormer in the back, so we can facilitate a bathroom there.
Okay.
We're actually extending the kitchen, since I do all the cooking in the family. I don't have enough room to cook. And my wife wants a garage for her car, so she doesn't have to, because I leave early in the morning, and she doesn't want to have to shovel
Okay.
it. And another bathroom upstairs, because we're always fighting for the bathroom. So.
Basically, it's not going to extend much more than the little porch you have now, is that correct, in the back?
No,
Yeah.
no, it's 2 feet more than what the porch is,
Right.
because the porch
Okay.
is actually going further than the house
Yeah.
is now.
Right. Okay, let's open up to the board, see what they have to say. I think, yeah, it's a good project, so. Go ahead, Corey.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I was in the property myself this afternoon, and it's a nice, well-maintained home, and I speak for his neighbors, too. It's a nice street, and the impression I get is it's a growing family that wants to stay in the city and wants to build on what they have, so I'm all for it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we actually love the neighbor. Our neighbors are all great, so it's the reason why we want to, you know.
Well, it seems that way because they're not here opposing this petition, so it seems like they're all...
The only one that's really
Yeah.
next to me actually works at the City Hall.
That's good, Good, Vizna.
I just want to add with what Mr. Belanger said, a growing family who want to stay in the neighborhood or in the city, but also a good man who like to please his wife.
That's the number one thing.
I think so. In addition, seriously, this is a great petition. He kept his property well. In favor of this petition.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good then.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, Donna seconds. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Noon?
Approve.
Ms. McMahon? Approve. Mr. Flynn? Approve. Mr. Square?
Approve.
And Mr. Kazanjian?
Approve. Good luck. We need you to sign some paperwork. You've been approved with 5 votes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have some minutes to vote on. July 10th, 2006, and also August 14th, 2006.
Make a motion to approve them both at the same time, Mr. Chairman?
I need a second.
Second motion?
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. I need a motion to,
Motion to
Adjourn.
adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second it?
everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes.